get this age group up and talk about sports.
800-782-0108 or 256-234-6221 is our phone number. Love to hear from you out there if you've got questions for us. And, Scott, we'll have a fun time up here tonight. We're going to set up. Kendall Graveman will be throwing for the Oakland Athletics tonight as they take on the Houston Astros. If you want to come out to JR Sports Bar and Grill, eat a great dinner, you can watch that game as we'll plug it in up here. And hoping for a good outing for Kendall here in outing number 2 of this season.
Yeah, and if you had opportunity to check out the first start, it definitely wasn't something that based on his spring training and part of his numbers from last year that you would have expected that. But I couldn't imagine being that nervous, and you could tell just some things went wrong with some errors, and that's really that's something that you normally wouldn't see from the Oakland Athletics. But I look for them to get back on track, taking on the Astros, a lineup that, that should fit his skill set very well.
You know, we got great specials up here at JR Sports Bar and Grill throughout the year. $3.99, bring your kids out in uniform. They'll eat off the kids' menu. $5.99, bring your kids out. Or you bring yourself out and you'll eat a snack wing basket. If you want to drink with that at $6.99, always great sponsors here at JR Sports Bar and Grill. They get out there. They represent the community well in a number of different events as well. Catering, you can set them up for catering services for you at 256-329-2328. A couple of teams that we'll have up here with us, some young age groups that we like to have and continue to get those, Scott. And as we mentioned a little bit earlier in the program, it's as easy as reaching out to us on social media now and letting us know that you want to have your kids up here.
Yeah, it seems like every day now. Once after the Tuesday show, I'll see somebody around town on Wednesday or Thursday, and they're like, well, how can I get my team on there? So that's definitely what we want to do and promote all the Alex City athletics, but not just Alex City, but also teams around the area, Davie, Horseshoe Bend, wherever. So just if you, as you said, if you're interested in bringing your team on, we'll highlight them and just get in contact with Justin or reach out to us on social media.
Let's see if this rain holds off tonight. I know a lot of you are sitting out there waiting that may have a 7:30 game here in the Alexander City community. If it does get rained out, bring your kids right there. They'll already have their uniforms on. Bring them on over here to JR Sports Bar and Grill. Have a great dinner. $3.99 is the special here for kids eating off the youth menu as they wear in their team uniform or team practice uniform. I'm going to go ahead and take our first break here on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup. When we come back, we'll welcome one of those great youth league teams up here. More of the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup right after this.
Holly's Home Furniture.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining the Sports Blitz Lake March Sports Roundup Show. Live on location in beautiful downtown Alexander City at JR Sports Bar and Grill. 256-329-2328 is the number to dial in, and they'll take care of any of your delivery needs, or you can come up and get some of their great food. Right now, we want to welcome in some very special guests. Scott Meacham, who is the head coach for the 5- and 6-year-old Atlanta Braves for the Alex City Parks and Rec. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, well, can you give us a brief summary of how the season is going so far? I know you probably hadn't played a lot of games, but how have you guys done so far?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. We went 1-1 on the opening day, which doesn't really go against your record. We're 3-0 since. The one rain out we got to make up the following day, so it worked out well. And then we were rained out Monday, and it looks like we'll be rained out the rest of the week, so that's been tough.
Well, when you're dealing with this age group, obviously, it's really, you want to win the games, but that's not the most important process of it. So can you talk a little bit about what you kind of helped them with? I know the fundamentals are what you guys have been working on the most.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is staying patient with the kids and understanding that they all have, different needs and trying to meet the needs of the kids. And, doesn't matter what age group you coach or you're at in sports, there's a different skill set everywhere, and trying to match up the coaching with the kids' skill set and helping them advance and take that next step.
Well, what drew you to coaching? Because I know that it takes a lot of time, as you said, and you have to have the patience to deal with it, especially at this age group. So what drew you to coaching?
My little boy over there, Cash, he drugged me into it, and it's been a blast. And once you get involved, all the kids grow on you, and you get that relationship or that bond with all the kids, and it just grows on you.
Well, the main thing that you always hear when we have these coaches up here is they talk about the parent support. So can you talk a little bit about how important it is to have the parent support of your team?
Yes, it's that's big, and early on having an understanding with the parents that they have your back and they know that you're there for the well-being of their kids and helping mentor them and try to take them to that next level, whether it's a 5-year-old going up to 6-year-old next year or a 6-year-old going up to 7 and 8, knowing that that they put their trust in you to have their kids for several hours a week and help develop them in the game of baseball.
We're here with Scott Meacham of the 5- and 6-year-old Atlanta Braves and Alex City Parks and Rec. So what we want to do right now is give Mark Worthy, the assistant coach, an opportunity to introduce some of the teams. So if you guys want to come up.
Hey, Austin, give us your name and what position you play.
Catch.
Yeah. What's your name?
Austin.
All right. Say hey to everybody.
Hey.
What's your name and what position?
Britain.
Okay, look that way.
Third base.
Come here, look right here, buddy. Tell me your name and what position.
Jason. Outfit.
All right, good job. What's your name? Tell me your name.
Jakari.
And what position?
Outfield.
Come on, Carter.
Carter, and I'm pitcher.
All right, good job, buddy.
He was pretty confident in that right there.
Yeah.
What's your name and position?
Cat. Float space.
All right, good job. What's your name and position?
Clayton. In the outfield.
What's your name?
Miles.
And what do you play?
Outfield.
Good job. What's your name, bro? Tell me your name.
Nathan Simmons.
And
Second
what's-
base.
Good job. You want to say hey to anybody?
Mm,
Good job. Who are you?
Jesse.
What position you play?
Shortstop.
Okay, good job.
There you go.
There's our break.
I think that's it. Well, guys, we appreciate it. When's the next time that everybody can go out and watch you guys play?
We have a game scheduled for Friday, and then, like I said, the weather makes it iffy at best. But Friday's our next game, and then I know it's bad. It's not the coach, but I don't know when our next game is after that. So
no, that's perfectly fine. Well, that's Scott Meacham and Mark Worthy, and your 5- and 6-year-old Atlanta Braves and LA City Parks and Rec. Thank you guys for joining the show. Right now, we're going up against another break. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show coming to you right after this.
On 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Randy Lee alongside Scott Hardy this evening. 256-234-6221. Great to have another one of our Youth League baseball and softball teams here in the Alexander City community up there with us. Make sure to get in touch with us through social media. You can call us as well at Lee Marketing Group. Let us know that you'd like for your teams to be part of the program up here, and we'll definitely get them on the schedule. Justin Clayton does a great job scheduling all of our guests, so make sure to reach out to him and let us know. Not only Youth League, but if you've got kids that are performing in travel ball or moving on and doing some great things, we want to talk a lot about them. 256-234-6221. We got a soccer program doing outstanding. The boys soccer team, they've been sitting in the top 5 a majority of the season this year, Scott, currently at number 3 in Class 6A, and have reeled off. Do you know how many consecutive victories? It's been a good little stretch right here.
I know they're like 14-3 and 4 right now. So the only 3 losses that they've had on the season are to 7A teams. So they've been getting a really strong effort, especially defensively. If you look at the scores, a lot of them have been 7-8-0 or 7-8-2. So kind of a continuation of last year. The area is still not as strong as they probably would like, but only trailing Coleman and
Fort Payne.
Fort Payne, yes. So those two teams definitely will be some teams that you would look forward to after maybe the first couple of rounds. They actually get a better draw this year. It looks like they would play Valley in the first round and another maybe not a middle-tier team in the second round. So they wouldn't have to play any legitimate competition really to maybe the third round, which is different from last year where you opened up with Homewood, who went on to win the state championship. So a lot of talk around the state and a lot of hype around this team. I know Coach Till probably doesn't really want to hear that, but they're getting a lot of buzz around the state. And the play behind Cole Grogan and Grant Hudson and great defensive play by both Scott and Sam Sturtevant have allowed this team to be so successful.
Yeah, they're very, very talented group. You've known that for a number of years. The youth program here in Alexander City has just grown by leaps and bounds. I'm not going to even name one name because I'd leave a bunch off, but there's, I'm going to say 8 or 10 individuals that have been so integral in getting the youth program up to where it is currently, not only here in the local leagues, but also moving them on and competing on a statewide and on a travel basis, which you just about have to do in every sport now. You can complain about it, but if you want to compete at the upper level in a lot of these sports, not only, football, you still don't have that travel ball aspect that you see as much, but in spring sports that you have right now and basketball, those sports, if you're not getting your kids out there and exposing them to some of the top talent, it's a struggle once they get up to that level.
Yeah, and what you're starting to see, and I don't necessarily know if I agree with it, but you're starting to see a lot of individuals and kind of dictate what sport they're going to play. So they individualize it. So if you're playing soccer, you're playing soccer. And so you see them play year round. So I think that's what you see. And we talked to some of the soccer players about it, is when they play some of these northern teams as well as the Birmingham area teams, they play together all year, so they're a little bit disadvantaged there. But this team, and Chase Burton here, one of the players, he talked about it on the show, they've been playing together as a whole probably for the last 10, 12 years, so they know the same chemistry that the other teams have. So I'm looking forward to, they have one more week in the regular season, and the playoffs will start next week.
The girls as well have had a very strong year so far, and Whitley Bailey, let's talk about her quickly. She was a Bryant Jordan regional winner last night. Last year, I think we had a couple that were named Bryant Jordan regional winners, Bryant Horn being one of those. Can't remember exactly who else. I apologize
Rosie
out
Lambert.
there. Rosie Lambert was the other, absolutely. And, I mean, it's amazing what we're pulling in, not only on the athletic fields, but in the classrooms here in this. And congratulations to Whitley Bailey, another one of those great athletes here in the school that has moved on and doing even better in the classroom.
Obviously, to be able to receive that, you have to be doing well in the classroom, and she's displaying that. But I can't really speak to that. But on the soccer field, she's had an outstanding season, been one of the main contributors for their team. If I'm not mistaken, they're waiting on maybe the game for Valor or Russell County. One of those games, the winner of that will determine whether or not they get to go. So they're still kind of on the fringe of the playoffs. So we'll hopefully be able to get an update from Coach Lutz or Coach Wagner before this week is up. But both the girls and boys have had a tremendous season, and I think both are definitely on the right track going forward.
If you've got some updates for us, if you're out and about and able to see a lot of these games that we're not, we'd love to hear from you. 256-234-6221. Going to go ahead and take another break here on the Late Martin Sports Roundup. When we come back, we'll have another one of these local area teams up here. They'll bring their kids up, introduce them to you, and talk about coaching here in the Youth League. I think we've got a T-ball team coming up next, and it's outstanding. Please get in touch with us. Let us know that you'd like for your kids to be part of the program. More of the Sports Blitz Late Martin Sports Roundup right after this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back in, and thanks for joining the Sports Blitz Late March Sports Roundup show, live on location. Beautiful downtown Alexander City, JR Sports Bar and Grill. Right now, we want to welcome in another one of our Alex City youth baseball teams, the 5- and 6-year-old Mets. Right now, we have to my side Coach Harvey. Coach Harvey, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dale.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit off there. Said you were the coach that liked to talk, so I'll give you that opportunity. Can you give us a little summary of how the season's going so far?
It's been going real well. You know, the first day we met these kids, you know, it was awesome. It was real awesome. We didn't know what we had the first day we met, and on through the season, it's been going real good. You know, we undefeated. I'm shocked at that. You know, we had some players that's first time playing. You know, and on our team we had like 2 4-year-olds and the rest of them like 5 and 6-year-olds. But we doing real good.
That's good. And so I'll ask you the same thing I kind of asked the last team. You know, patience is such a huge thing when you're dealing with this age group. And you talk a little bit about what it takes to be able to get them ready because, you know, obviously it's not – you want them to win the game, and you said you've done well, but you want to instill the fundamentals to ensure that, you know, they continue to play the right way going forward.
Yes, for me and Coach Bird over there, you know, we just came together that, hey, we either going to teach them the right thing or teach them they ain't going to learn at all. But, you know, we have some kids that just focus. I'm talking about they pay attention real well. I'm talking about we got 12 of them, and they pay attention real well. You know, like our parents, we have some real good parents out there that I wish I could bring them all up right now so y'all can see them, but I know we don't have a good time on that, but they behind the kids 100%. I'm talking about everything we asked of them, they give it. I'm talking about all, and the kids bring 1,000% to the practice. You know, we play a lot, but at that game, we are the New York Mets.
There you go. And we're here with the 5- and 6-year-old Mets, coached by Coach Harvey and Coach Kendrick. And before we introduce the team, I just want to ask, what's been the best part so far, or the most enjoyable part of coaching this team?
No, the best part about it, you know, the kids. If it ain't the kids, there's nothing else. And, you know, for all the parents to bring their kids out to practice every day, to the games every day, and to see that smile on their face, that's awesome. I'm talking about this is real awesome. But we got some home run hitters out there. I'm talking about ain't nobody in the league yet made 7 runs on us.
Well, it sounds like the success has definitely been paying off and taking place. And I see your team getting a little antsy there. So what we'll do right now is Coach Kendrick, if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and introduce the 5- and 6-year-old Mets. Yeah.
My name is Gavin. Outfield. Kadarius, third baseman. Vontae Trailer, hind catcher.
Y'all turn around, too. We want to make sure we get you on the camera, so we'll turn around there.
Darius, shortstop.
Hello.
What's his name?
Karan Harvey.
Fisher.
Got a few more.
My name is Dawson Ray, and I play first base. My name is Phoenix Way, and second base. My name is Simon. I play outfield.
Is that it? That's your 5 and 6 Alex City Metropolitans there, the Alex City Mets. So we appreciate you guys on the show, and we wish you good luck the rest of the season. That's going to put us up against another break. More of the Late March Sports Roundup show presented to you by JR Sports Bar and Grill right after this.
4, 3,
Hey,
2,
Justin.
1.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Randy Lee alongside Scott Hardy. Got about 28 minutes left here on the program tonight. We'll take your phone calls at 256-234-6221. A ton of kids coming into JR Sports Bar and Grill. It's a great spot. Great corporate partners for all of our Sports Blitz programming for years. And make sure to bring your kids out in uniform. They'll eat off the kids' menu for $3.99. We've talked a lot of local area athletics as a number of teams are moving on and playing for playoff berths. Our number 3 ranked 6A state boys soccer team here at Benjamin Russell High School, really one that high expectations are out there for, and we'll continue to pass along information to you. Again, call us, find us on social media, keep us updated out there, and we'll pass that along. And Scott, 2 great teams. That's what we want. We want to have as many of them as possible. So please contact us if you're a parent out there of some of these kids and you'd like for your kids to be part of the program.
Yeah, and as much as we enjoy it, I know they enjoy it more. It gives them an opportunity to get some exposure and start getting comfortable being in front of the camera. And most importantly, gives the parents an opportunity to see their kids get highlighted. So, again, if you want to get on the show, just contact us through social media or contact Justin Clayton, our producer, and we'll make sure that we get you taken care of.
What are some things hot with you right now? I know we got an 8-day game for Auburn, Alabama in the midst of their spring practice as well. So it's always fun for spring because new players are jumping up into the forefront for both of those teams. Scott, you'll be on Sports Blitz Live tonight, so I know y'all talk a lot about it. But let's move. Let's talk about Auburn quickly. Some players that you're expecting big things out of this year.
Well, I want to stay away from the offensive side of the ball because I know that side is pretty much going to be taken care of. But obviously, Javon Robinson and Jeremy Johnson are 2 players on the offensive side of the ball that I think everybody is excited to see. And, of course, Jason Smith, the transition from quarterback to looks like receiver in the return game. But defensively, Stephen Roberts and Trey Matthews, I think, are the 2 names that I think that Auburn fans are going to be the most excited about, especially Trey Matthews. He comes over, does this 1 year with Georgia, all SEC freshman, comes over now, sits out a year and has an opportunity to be a main contributor in the secondary. One of the weakest links, too. I mean, the defense had some major holes in it last year, but definitely in the secondary. And I think with the addition of Muschamp and T-Rob, you're going to see a change there. And so it'll allow some players that haven't been productive in years past opportunity to get a chance to succeed.
Jeremy Johnson's going to get the nod there at quarterback. Duke Williams back for his last year as well at Auburn. And just big keeps there for Auburn with Jeremy Johnson moving in. And Damian Craig this past week had an article and had some comments to say that I wouldn't be surprised if they broke all of my passing records, which is right, a little bit under 3,300 yards passing on the season. And Duke Williams doesn't take down a majority of the receiving records here at Auburn. That's big words out there, but I think the expectation level is pretty high there at Auburn offensively.
I think that even though Jeremy is a fan favorite, people better get used to him because if he puts up the numbers that I think he's capable of in this Gus Malzahn offense, you're only going to have him for a year, and which I think that doesn't really matter at all because Sean White, the backup, the number 2, has been getting rave reviews as well. He's gotten his share of first-team reps as well. So we'll have Allie Davidson on the Sports Blitz side to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on with Auburn and some progression there on the depth chart because there have been some moves there. Alex Kozan being back is definitely something, too, I think that Auburn fans should be excited about. You don't really notice the difference until somebody like that is gone. So I think the offensive line is going to be tremendously better, as well as the defensive line. In the trenches, that's somewhere that Auburn needs to beef up. And I think if they're able to do so on the defensive line, that'll help elevate the play of guys like a Chris Frost and a Casanova McKenzie.
Sports Blitz Live tonight from 7 to 9. Luke Robinson will be over there with Scott to host that program. They'll talk a lot about Alabama, but it's still the quarterback position that gets the majority of the talk. Is it Jacob Coker that ends up getting the nod? It felt like he would last year, but Blake Sims steps up and has an outstanding season, and he has potential to move on some kind of free agency land there. But on the Alabama side, there still seems to be a lot of question marks offensively around that quarterback position, and who's going to take over for All-SEC and All-American Amari Cooper is also a big question.
Yeah, I think that should be their biggest concern because you could see last year Blake Sims isn't necessarily the greatest quarterback, but when you have an offensive coordinator like Lane Kiffin who knows how to get the ball in his playmakers' hands, it kind of takes some pressure off of you. So if they can find somebody at the skill position that can help take some pressure off of whoever plays quarterback. I saw that Cooper Bateman has moved to receiver, and so that's just weird in itself too. So we'll see what happens with Coker. You come in last year and he's All-American potential, could be a Heisman candidate, and doesn't sniff the field. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think that there are some holes there that people may not be aware of on the Alabama side, so they have some things to correct. But offensively, I think that's going to be their biggest concern.
With injuries and transfers and all the problems running back, did you ever think we'd have an issue at Alabama with running back? I've never thought that we'd say that again, but it's odd watching right now and seeing how low the depth chart has become in the running back position for Alabama. Of course, they've got as good as anybody right there at the top, but after that, it's a pretty drastic fall.
Yeah, and somebody that we're expecting to be a main contributor there, Bo Scarborough, he gets hurt. So that, I mean, you really just have Henry there, but the talent is there. So if they're able to stay healthy, that could be the biggest part or the best part of their team. But, again, they're going to have to find somebody to pick up the play from Amari Cooper, who was everything from them. So everything went through him. So when you have somebody who creates that much attention around them, you want to make sure that continues from year to year.
We've got several big things that we want to pass along out there. Again, if you've got kids that want to be on this program, we want to talk about them. But also if you've got tournaments, if you've got fundraisers out there, if you'll pass those along to us, we'll push them out as often as we can leading up to whenever your event is this year. The same as we did last year, the Off Outdoor Friends Forever, a good friend of ours, Jim Hardy, who is a major part of this organization, and what a great organization it is. They're having their second annual memorial fishing tournament for Jim Landers. That is this weekend, Wind Creek State Park. Guaranteed payback will be $10,000, $2,000 out to the first place finisher. Entry fee will be only $100 this weekend. Expect a humongous turnout down there at Wind Creek this weekend for this tournament. It goes to a tremendous organization in the Outdoor Friends Forever organization. So we hope a lot of you, if you're wavering, trying to decide if you're going to go down there and fish in that tournament, you definitely make the decision to do that.
Yeah, and hopefully the weather plays along with it. And I know a couple weeks ago when we had the Elk City Sports Foundation tournament, we had a lot of the boaters who will be participating in the tournament this weekend participate in our tournament as well. And there was a great turnout. So I'm sure that with this great cause that you'll get out. And again, this is a great organization to provide funding for. So again, if you're able to come out and participate this weekend, $100 Outdoor Friends Forever fishing tournament.
Yeah, make sure to be a part of that, and we'll pass that along on our social media outlets. A great cause and a great event. The first year had, I don't want to throw the number of boats out there, but it was a big number during the first one, and they expect even more this weekend down at Wind Creek. Go ahead and take another break here on the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Make sure to come out to JR Sports Bar and Grill. Bring your kids out in uniform, and yes, that can be a practice uniform. They'll eat off the kids' menu for $3.99. More of the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup right after this.
2, 1.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Randy Lee alongside Scott Hardy. 800-782-0108, 256-234-6221. Sports Blitz live tonight from 7 to 9 statewide. You can tune that in on Charter Channel 80 on the Alabama Cable Network, or right here on Charter Channel 3 in the Lake Martin region. Also, all of our programs are streamed live, 97.5 Kowaliga Country. Can't ask for better partners than Lake Broadcasting. I want to thank John Kennedy, JJ Jeffcoat, the entire crew over there for being a big part of our Sports Blitz programming and all of the sports that they do here in the local community. Not only our programming, but allowing us to go out there and provide coverage for Benjamin Russell football, Dable football, all of the TV that goes on out there. I mean, trust me, it's a lot of work. It's a labor of love out there a lot of times, but we really do appreciate y'all out there coming up to us all the time and letting us know that you've tuned in and are appreciative of what they're doing over at Lake Broadcasting. So I do want to thank them. Let's move on. Willie Carl Martin. They'll have Willie Carl Martin Day on May the 12th. Our very own Luke Robinson just wrote an outstanding article on Coach Martin, and probably long overdue. But, Scott, when you're in the midst of your career, you really don't shut it down there. I don't think you start honoring people until it's over, and Coach Martin's been in one of his better stretches as he's been part of a number of national titles there at the University of Alabama, won a state championship as a coach here at Benjamin Russell in 2001, was part of multiple other teams that were so very close over his 25-year history here at Benjamin Russell High School. A great honor for a great man, Scott.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about it. In about a 15-year period, including his Alabama tenure, he went to 5 national championship or 5 championship appearances, whether it was in the college ranks or in the high school ranks. So definitely a lot of success for him. And again, I know that that's going to be something that the community rallies behind. So I'm really looking forward to that day. It's going to be a great event. And as you said, Luke wrote a very flattering article that comes out a couple of days about Coach Willie Carl Martin. So really excited to see how that event turns out.
That's May the 12th. There's a number of different ways that you can get involved and head over for that. One of the ways is to head over to the Chamber of Commerce here in Alexander City and pick you up a ticket. They've got Sunfest coming up in the next couple of months. Had a great announcement with David Nell being the headline act on Saturday night there at the Sportplex. Scott, I can keep on going on and on about all of the great things going on in our local community, but boy, it is a breath of fresh air if you're out there and you're part of it. And if you're not part of it, become part. There's so many different ways, so many committees, so many organizations that are doing great things out there. Just find a way. Find any of the local, find Main Street, the EDA, the Chamber of Commerce, walk in, let them know that you're interested, want to become active here in the local community. Trust me, all you got to do is say that. They'll get you active, I promise you, and it's a great thing.
Yeah, and this is the first time in a very long time, I think, that everybody's going in the same direction. And that's such a major thing when you're trying to have change. You need to make sure everybody's on board and going the right direction. So applaud the city council and the chamber as well. Everybody's making a conjoined effort to make sure that Alex City gets turned around. And so when you continue to have events like this, Sunfest is going to be a big deal. I hope people understand getting somebody like David Neal to come here is a major thing. So hats off to Ann Ryan and the rest of the chamber. But as you said, if you're interested in finding an opportunity to help, they will find you one. Somebody out there can always use the help. So, again, I'm really excited about the direction that the community is going.
You know, one group that we talk over and over about, and you really can't give them enough kudos, is the Parks and Rec here in the Alexander City community. So many events are brought through. It takes immense amount of effort and time by the Parks and Rec to put these events on and to actually go out and market for these events. Scott, you worked at the Alabama Sports Festival for quite a while. You understand how much it takes, how much time and effort it takes to put on events. Amazing how many of them we're able to put on. But we need to around here because we've got great facilities. We've got the lake that we have the opportunity to market as well. And we've got good leadership on that end. I mean, they're leaders that you really want to be in the front, the forefront. You want them talking to potential people. One thing I've seen a lot more of it, I'm no fisherman, but I have seen more tournaments or more talk about fishing tournaments, which is a great thing when you talk about tourism dollars here in the local community.
Yeah, they are major cash cows, and so they're going to bring it in. And when you have the opportunity to fish on a lake like Lake Martin, even if you have people who aren't fishing there, they're going to come for the recreational side. So the lake provides such an opportunity for us on the tourism side. And as you said, the Parks and Rec, I think going forward, especially with the zip line there coming at Wind Creek, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for not only the fishing side but the recreational side. So again, everybody seems to be going in the same direction and a positivity for the change that's taking place.
You know, if you're new to the area, haven't been around, look, we've got really a small college venue. When you talk about the football field here at the Sportplex, it's as nice as anybody in the state. And yeah, it's getting it was built in 85, so it is 20 years old. 30 years old. Am I getting old? Hold up. Let me do my math back.
Yeah,
30
I'm
years.
87, so whew,
I'm feeling old, too. I'm looking at all of them, too. And but I tell you, it is a venue that we take advantage of, and we'll continue to try to do more and more out there with that. But the new soccer complex is one that we're excited about. Soccer, as you mentioned, is a year-round sport now, and we're going to take advantage of that in the Lake Martin community.
Yeah, and I think that's something you'll see Sonny Wilson and the rest of the staff start to draw more attention to that, because if you look at some other municipalities around the state, every weekend, if you look at Dothan and Enterprise and Montgomery and Birmingham and Huntsville and South Alabama, they're going to have tournaments every weekend, whether it's soccer or baseball. But soccer, with those fields, you'll be able to host tournaments and bring families in, so they'll be eating in your restaurants and staying in your hotels and visiting the lake and the downtown area. So it'll only be a plus. So hats off again to everybody who's trying to do their part to make sure that we can make Alex City as good as it can be.
Another venue that is getting an upgrade, and a much-needed upgrade, is Hampline Stadium. And it has taken that Parks and Rec group, Mike Goodwin, all of his crew over there, but it's taken county leadership as well with T.C. Coley and Steve Robinson there, and city leadership. Let me commend all of the city council, our mayor here in Alexander City, for really stepping up and saying, this is something we're going to do. We're going to make this thing worth using right here in downtown Alexander City. I've heard a number ask, why do we want to upgrade an old stadium that was there? Well, one, it means a lot to a lot of people, but let's move past that. Another reason is to have events down in the local community and to bring people. Look, I'm sitting in JR Sports Bar and Grill. It's very, very important. It's uber important that people are coming down into the main street in the downtown area to eat and to dine and to have things that they can do, like the new entertainment district that was approved here a couple of weeks ago. But Hampline Stadium's going to bring the middle school, for one. Scott, you helped out over there for a little while. We've all been involved in the middle school. If they have an opportunity to play their home games at the middle school, what a huge boost it is to the downtown, just talking about those few dates throughout the year.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this about me or not, Randy, but I'm what you would have called a middle school stud in football. So,
oh, wow.
But no, I would have loved the opportunity to have played. I would have loved the opportunity to have played.
You reached your peak in eighth grade,
that was about it
for
me. Yeah, that was about it. But no, all jokes aside, I would have loved the opportunity to have played at Hampline. We always talk about it, and that'll give them a sense of their own, because they do go play and that's a big deal, though, for a middle school team to go play at the Sportsplex. But could you imagine what it would be like if you could get the student body there and get stuff downtown, because you're right there with the Hampline. So, again, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg for where things are going, but I would have loved to have had the opportunity to play at Hampline during those years.
A couple more minutes left here on the program tonight. Again, thanks for all the teams coming out, being involved with the program. But let's move over and talk about a couple more kids that are doing extraordinary things. Here in the next 20 minutes, we'll have Kendall Graveman. If you want to come out to JR Sports Bar and Grill and tune that game in, we'll stream it live on one of the television monitors up here. And we're going to try to do that as often as possible. We'll pass it along on our social media outlets and give you an opportunity to come up here and sit here at JR Sports Bar and Grill and watch him. Didn't have a very good first outing, but had the best spring in Major League Baseball, had the lowest ERA in the majors in the spring. So he'll get things turned around, hopefully a big win, his first victory there for the Oakland Athletics tonight. That one will be in the next 20 or 30 minutes. El Toro Freeman had a nice mini camp with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Can you give us a quick update on El Toro and how it went this past weekend? I think they were down in Florida.
Yeah, I hadn't had a chance to really get with we sent a couple messages, and he was just saying he was just trying to stay positive, and he from all looks of it and from the reports I tried to read, he had a pretty good camp. So hopefully that transitions him and gets him the opportunity to play long term. We're really excited about him and following in the footsteps of Coach Willie Carl Martin. So there's definitely a career that can be made there. But I think that Saskatchewan got a really good player in him. And you're talking about Kendall again. If anybody that knows him knows how hard he works, he's going to be okay. And there were reports, too. There was a 10-day virus that actually went through the athletics camp. And so I think they said 6 or 7 players actually got sick, and Kendall was one of those players. So not to use that as an excuse, but he was a little bit under the weather during his first start. And, again, that was his first major league start ever. So I can't imagine what type of pressure he felt on him. But, again, you can come to JR tonight and check him out. They take on the Houston Astros, a lineup that is set up for him to succeed, a ground ball pitcher, and they try to hit a lot of home runs. So I think it'll be a great matchup for him.
We'll pass along updates throughout the year on all of our local area kids. Talked to Griff Gordon this past week. He's held on, still in the mix with the New York Yankees. Greg Vinson, one of our own here, a year older than me, Benjamin Russell High School, one of the best athletes I've seen. I'm telling you, he could do it all. And he's now a professional fisherman, of all things, to go along with that athletic ability. But he's got great work ethic also. He finished 8th, I believe, in the Elite Series event in Guntersville this past weekend, was in the top 5 a whole bunch of times. It's an unbelievable time to be a sports fan from this community, and it just speaks volumes about what's going on about a mile up the road at Benjamin Russell High School, as all of those guys played there at Benjamin Russell High School in some form or fashion. And looking forward to continuing to cover El Toro. I'm having fun to see how big Canadian football really is. There's a huge fan base in Canadian football. There's a nice online support system there as well, and it's going to be fun. I'm hoping that he can put together a nice career. I watched a good video from his head coach last night. Didn't mention any names verbatim, but he said there are a number of defensive players that he saw in minicamp that he felt like, and minicamp was only the defensive side of the ball did not have all of the veterans coming back. So these were newcomers, and he said he saw a number of starters that he saw. So I don't know if El Toro is one of those, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's not. I know one defensive back they had also turned a bunch of heads. So we'll follow him. We're going to definitely be an Oakland Athletics fan, and I can't now just all of a sudden become an un-Atlanta Braves fan. But wow, 6-1 start, Scott, up against the close of the program. But would you have thought this 2 weeks ago?
I would, but again, I want to let everybody to get a little cautious there in this 6-1 start, because by the end of April, or even then, especially by the end of May, we could see a little something different. But the pitching has been there, and they've been hitting the ball. Cameron Maben over in the transaction trade with that included the closer Kimbrell. I think that actually has benefited them more than many thought. He's a great center fielder. So hopefully the Braves can continue the success that they've had. I know that everybody around the community, big Braves supporter, but go A's tonight.
Yeah, make sure to tune in. Sports Blitz Live coming up next from 7 to 9. Scott Hardy and Luke Robinson will be over there to host that. For Scott Hardy, I'm Randy Lee saying thanks for tuning in to the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup.
Back.